How are you, folks? Dave Brown here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. A few days ago, I made a video about the death of Yevgeny Prigozhin that was a little tongue in cheek, where I said, well, we all saw this coming. It was just a matter of time before he was finally taken out. This was not a surprise. And I thought that would be the end of it, the predictable conclusion to the Yevgeny Prigozhin saga. But since then, I've been on YouTube and online, and I've seen a lot of commentators, a lot of experts, people who I like and respect, a lot of them saying that Prigozhin was not killed by Putin. It was probably something else, and that they do not think Putin was involved. And I truly find that perplexing because the reasons they give, I really don't think hold up to scrutiny, and they just don't, logically make much sense to me. So, in this video, I want to go through some of the reasons they say that Putin was not involved, and just break them down and explain why Putin might have been involved and why he probably was responsible. But that being said, the investigation is under control of the Russian government, and because of that, ultimately we will never know for sure what happened there because they will only tell us what they want to tell us. So all we can do, is guess. And secondly, I want to say too that I am not a Putin hater. I'm not a Putin lover. So my analysis is not colored by any sort of animus toward Vladimir Putin. I don't have that, so I'm trying to be objective as I possibly can. So the first thing that I've heard people say is that Putin would not kill an innocent Russian in the process of trying to get Prigozhin, that he would not do it, that he is so pure of heart that even the death of one innocent person would be too much. And I just kind of shake my head going, if you're running Russia 23 years now, a country that is recovering from the collapse of the Soviet Union with so many internal problems, oligarchs who are cutthroat, do you think Putin could survive for 23 years and hold on to power that long if you were that pure of heart, where not even one person he would kill, he was innocent? And I think that is laughable. Every world leader in charge of a powerful country are responsible for the death of innocent people. That is part of the job. And their analyses, their behavior, their actions, they're looking big picture. They say to themselves, okay, maybe a couple innocent people die, but it's in service of a greater good. I certainly, Putin thinks that way. So there was the two pilots and the flight attendant who were killed. And I'm not saying Putin would be happy about collateral damage, but it's certainly acceptable for a person like Putin to have collateral damage if he thought he was accomplishing something that was for the greater good of Russia, which is getting rid of a cancer like Yevgeny Prigozhin. And about those three people who were killed, the pilots and the flight attendant, this was a private plane. This wasn't a commercial flight where Prigozhin and his team bought tickets and they showed up to the flight and the pilots and the flight attendant were like, oh, wow, that's Yevgeny Prigozhin. I can say almost for certainty that they knew who was going to be on that plane before they got on that plane. They knew it was Yevgeny Prigozhin. And that is a costly mistake, being around somebody like him who was radioactive, who was marked for death. So while they're not guilty of a crime per se, they were guilty of doing business with somebody that they should not have done business with. And I'll give you another parallel. It's like pretty girls who hang around drug dealers because they're flashy and they got a lot of money and they're hanging around these guys at a club, and then somebody walks in and pop, pop, pop. They fire a gun and they get killed. Are they guilty of a crime? No, but they chose to be around somebody who was a criminal, somebody who had, somebody who was going to have bad things happen to them. So these people weren't 100% innocent in that sense. They were willingly around Yevgeny Prigozhin, willing to do business with him, knowing that he had just 2 months prior led a mutiny against the Russian government and the Ministry of Defense. So I would not want to be within 1,000 miles of Yevgeny Prigozhin, and that's a mistake they made. So if Putin did decide to blow up this plane and went, oh wow, I'm going to feel bad about the pilot and the flight attendant, he might also go, well, they knew the score, they played the game, and so this is acceptable collateral damage. Second, people say that Putin would want to do this quietly. Let me quietly get rid of Yevgeny Prigozhin. This guy wasn't some obscure person within the Russian ruling class. This dude led a mutiny that was being watched by the entire world. Everybody was watching this mutiny going, oh my God, what is happening in Russia? How do you quietly get rid of that guy? You can't do it. When you do get rid of him, people are going to be watching and going, oh, there it is. It finally happened. Putin got rid of this guy. So I don't think there was any quiet way to get rid of him. Whatever Putin did, it would immediately attract the attention of the entire world, and everybody in unison would say, oh, Putin finally got him. So I don't think there was a quieter way to do it. And number three, Putin was killed with other members of Wagner. Why is this important? If you had not just Prigozhin, but Ukin, the Wagner commander, who are part of this mutiny, who are part of this act of treachery against Putin, getting Prigozhin wouldn't be good enough. You'd want to get all the guys who were involved. And you would want to get them at the same time. So say they take out Prigozhin, and now you have Ukin still alive, and he's saying to himself, oh crap, they got him, they're going to come after me next. And if somebody knows they're about to be taken out, that is when they are potentially very, very dangerous. So if you're Putin, it would make sense to want to get them all together. Three birds, one stone, easy way to do it. So I think a plane crash makes a lot of sense. And fourth, the plane crash. We have all these people saying, well, it could have been a bomb. It could have been, ammunition in the store that wasn't stored properly. I really don't buy that one. Maybe it was the CIA. It was Ukraine. It was another internal enemy. Well, that's the thing. There are people giving a million reasons for why this happened. And so Putin actually does have some level of deniability going, no, I wasn't involved in this. It could have been any of these things. If he is Prigozhin tossed off a building, like some of the other guys, it's really, really obvious. So if Prigozhin's tossed off, and then a week later, Ukin's tossed off, and then it's like, okay, clearly it was the Russian government, it was Vladimir Putin who did it. So actually, I think a plane accident is a way that does give Putin some level of deniability, and that is even assuming that he wants deniability. He was kind of embarrassed by having Prigozhin do this. And I'm sure there's part of Putin that would love everyone to know, especially people in Russia who might challenge him. He would want them to know, if you do something like this, you're going to be done, and I will be the one who does it. So perhaps Putin doesn't even want that deniability. But if he did, this plane accident did give him a small amount. And the last reason that people say that Putin didn't do this is that, Right now we have the BRICS summit, all the countries getting together, and they said they would not, or Putin would not want this distraction with BRICS going on. And I say this, what they're doing with BRICS is so much bigger than any one country. These countries are coming together to fight the U.S. power, the power of the U.S. dollar, and the fact that America can use U.S. dollar as a financial weapon against a lot of countries, as we've seen. So these countries are fighting for their own survival, their own economies, their own self-interest, and ultimately, they're not too concerned about the internal things going on within Russia. They have much bigger fish to fry, and ever since Prigozhin was killed, there hasn't been any BRICS country like, oh well, this guy Prigozhin died, so you know what? We don't want to work with Russia anymore, so we're out of BRICS. Has any country said that? No. You know what they did say? I guarantee you, they were like, oh, Prigozhin was killed in a plane crash. Well, we saw that one coming. Next, moving along, let's get back to the meeting. None of them cared. This was an internal matter for the Russians. South Africa, Brazil, China, they're not concerned about that. They're concerned about getting the framework done for BRICS so that in the future their countries are secure economically. Prigozhin being dead or alive means very little to them. And we haven't seen anything from any of these countries showing that his death was that significant. So I don't think that matters. So those are my reasonings why Putin may have or probably was responsible. Again, we will never know for sure because all this happened in Russia, and the Russian government will only tell us what they want to tell us. So do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. Well, that's it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.